Hi folks, Six Slices here. I recently did videos on each of these two knives, both from Sheffield made Pruning Knives. This one's by Home, and this one by Rogers. They're both now part of the Eggington group, but their histories go back over 200 years and over 300 years. IXL was awarded as trademark in 1787, and the Rogers trademark of the Star and Maltese Cross was 105 years earlier in 1682. So these are old companies, but they've been making this pattern or variations of what we call the pruner pattern for a long time. In America, we call it the hawkbill pattern, and I think that's probably more appropriate because it does mean these knives have a wider appeal than just for gardeners pruning their roses or whatever it is that you prune, or budding your plants or whatever it is that you do. I'm not a gardener, and so I never had one of these knives for a long time. But eventually, or one day, my son came home, and at work he'd found this. Now, I think it's a generic Chinese, doesn't have any marks on it other than the word stainless, but it was in a bit of a ropey state, so he gave it to me. The point was missing. It was blunt, of course, just a bit of a mess, so I sharpened it up, got it back to a point, cleaned it as far as I could, oiled the wood a bit, and so I started using it, and I found it to be a really useful blade shape. It's really good for opening parcels and things like that, which seems to be the thing these days. You're always opening something from Amazon. So that was good, but it's a locking knife, and you can't carry locking knives in Britain without good reason. And the problem, I think, is that what is the good reason for having this lock when you could have one of these that don't lock? It'd be difficult to argue that it was essential that lock was there other than for the general point of safety, but that general point doesn't wash when it comes to the courts. So I decided I could do with a UK legal one. So I got this. And this one is from Arthur Wright, but I bought it from Heine Haynes, who don't do any checking of the knives to make sure that the quality's there. Now, this is pre-Harrison days. This is before Michael and Ashley took over the company. Michael certainly worked there, but their quality control standards were a bit lax, shall we say. So, the fitting of that spring, the hafting of this knife, the fitting of the end cap are really dreadful. But actually, I came to quite like this knife. Now, I did write to Ashley back in those days. I sent him a long message on through Facebook Messenger, explaining how they needed to buck their ideas up, basically. And he came back and said, well, we've just taken over, and we are doing exactly that. So I spent a lot of time since then trying to get hold of their knives without them knowing I'm getting hold of their knives, so I could check the quality control improvements. And they certainly have improved. But the day after I'd had that conversation with Ashley, well, actually on Saturday, but on the Monday, I phoned up Sheffield, the famous Sheffield shop, and spoke to Jane, who knew exactly who I was and that I've been talking to Ashley. So it was a little bit tricky to try and find knives that are not pre-vetted. But I got this one from Jane, because one of the questions I'd been asking Ashley was whether they had any knives in ebony, and they did. So this is one. Now, the quality of the finish on this is much better. I mean, I just noticed you can see that pin there, but I'm not sure you could see that when it was new. But the hafting is much more even, and so forth. But so it's certainly better. It's the way they should be making them. The end cap fits properly and so forth. I think even the spring to blade is considerably better. It's not perfect. There's a wee bit of gapping at the bottom, but it's between the spring and the liners. That's okay. I don't mind that. What I don't like is between the liners and the wood. So that's good. But this one, the end cap is nice and rounded. This one, it's kind of angular. So as a user, I actually prefer the slightly rougher one. How odd is that? But just the way it is. This is certainly an improvement in their quality of output. So since then, I've picked up a few others. I think the next one I got was from Michael May. Now, this is quite a different setup of pruner, but it is a pruner nonetheless. It's on the Ettrick pattern frame, but an Ettrick knife would have a Wharncliffe blade, which would be straight. And this doesn't. This has this peach pruner blade. So this compares very similarly to the blade from the Winston-Home. It's very slightly different in shape, but then they're different makers. But these are definitely a peach pruner rather than a full pruner. A peach pruner is just basically smaller and less curved. Now, Arthur Wright also do a peach pruner, but theirs is slightly different again in that they're using the handle from perhaps what would be called a tackler. But again, a tackler would have a Wharncliffe blade, and this has peach pruner blade. So it's actually quite a nice little knife. It's quite compact, even compared to the Winston-Home. This is really quite small. But as you probably all know, I have a particular penchant for Taylor's Eyewitness knives, and I have a couple, and these are relatively recent because I've never seen these patterns done by Taylor's before. Now, this is what they call their half pruner, which one could describe as similar to the peach pruner, or similar to the Winston-Home, but it's a bit longer. So it's somewhere between the peach pruner and a full pruner, or what would be a better comparison actually would be this one. So it's longer than the peach pruner. Too many knives getting in the way here. So it's as long as a standard pruner, but narrow as a peach pruner, so somewhere in between. And the last one I'm going to show you here is my Christmas present from Bakewell Cookshop. Having been unemployed for most of last year, I had some store credit. They cancelled my store credit and just asked me to pick one of the knives for Christmas. And I picked this one because it's a pattern that I just didn't have from wholesalers. I'd never actually seen it before in their Premier range, but it's their peach pruner. Now this is, I suppose, um, rather like the Arthur Wright peach pruner. The only difference is it's slightly heavier all round and slightly broader blade, slightly thicker handle, slightly longer hand. No, I think it's the same length of handle, but it's certainly it's bigger, it's rounder, more of it. Um, and the other difference is I think there's just greater quality here. This looks much more crudely made compared to this, but then this is twice the price, so you would expect to get more for your money, and you do. So anyway, these are my pruners. I'm showing them for no particular reason other than the fact that I actually think the pruner is a really good pattern and actually a very good, literally everyday carry knife, blade shape. It's useful, very useful for opening packages. You can use it to open boxes, and you can also use it to open sort of the padded envelope things that you get, and the big paper envelopes that stuff comes in from Amazon and the likes. So it's a great pattern. I like it. It's one I came to rather lately, but as you can see, I've managed to pick up a few already. There's 9 there. I think that's all I've got at the moment, but you never know. Anyway, if you like this stuff, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see some more of this stuff, then please subscribe and remember to ring the notifications bell. Thank you very much.